Alright, so hello everyone, welcome to the world of exploration, welcome to the world of learning. This is your very own educator, teacher, philosopher, guide, mentor, preacher, one and all, and this is the one stop destination wherein we are all gonna learn and grow together. Alright, so we are gonna start with note making. Now, what do you mean by note making? Note making means listing out in brief. Please underline the word brief. Very important. So when we are talking about brief, we are talking about the concise nature. We are talking about the precise nature, right? So the most important facts and ideas are, they are to be showcased. Clear? And the arguments contained in a piece of written or spoken text. So there's a way of recording important details. Again, underline it. The words that are highlighted, please underline them. From a source, the writer records the essence of the information, right? So note making means listing out in brief the most important facts and ideas and arguments contained in a piece of written or spoken text. It is a way of recording important details from a source. The writer records the essence of the information. Now, when do we make notes? Now, let's talk about it. So, when you have to revise lessons before an examination, right? For example, you would be having, your exams are just around the corner. So, you have to revise lessons before an examination. Before that, you will be making notes. You will be making notes for a presentation. For example, if you have to give some sort of presentation, or even in your ASL, if you have to give your presentation, your assessment of speaking and listening skills, then you have to make notes for it. Then you have the project work, right? So you basically make notes. Then while writing a report, so to write a report, a letter, or an essay, again you make notes. Clear? To convey telephonic messages, you make notes. To plan a lecture, a speech, or a discussion, you make notes. So while you are planning a lecture or a speech or a discussion or a debate, while you are in that planning stage, you make notes. Or to summarize a text that you have read. So for example, you have read right now, you have read We Are Not Afraid to Die, right? I'm just giving you an example. So you can make notes from that lesson. Or from the Alien Planet. It's not included in your syllabus, but you can still make notes because it is easier for you to make or carve out notes. Clear? Then we proceed to note making, right? It basically enables to organize your own thoughts in a better way, in a better manner. So you are able to organize your thoughts or perceptions in a better way. Then we have it, it helps in drawing conclusions. So you are able to reach to a particular conclusion. Clear? It saves a lot of time by going through the notes made. So while you have created, and when you have created the notes, when you have drafted the notes, it basically ends up saving your time, right? Then it helps in keeping the information handy whenever it is required. So whenever the information is required, it is handy, it comes handy. Why? Because you have made notes for it. It helps in recollecting and recalling the past, whatever the past events were said or heard. So it helps in basically recollection or recalling, right? The 2 R's, or you can say R squared, right? Now, then the next one is distinguish between main points and details. So it basically forms a kind of a hierarchy between the main points and its details, right? So as I have explained in the class as well, so you have the heading, then you have the subheading, then the subheading is further divided into subheading, right? And then you can divide it further, right? So, and then you have a separate box for key to abbreviations, right? So yeah, let's proceed. Then we have steps to making notes. Now you have to read the passage to get the idea what it is about. Now this is called skimming. What is it called? It is called skimming. So you have to make sure, like I explained in the class also, that we are talking about for example, for instance, you have unseen passages, right, that you get, and the questions you have to answer, right? And nowadays it's the MCQ format also, right? Similarly here also, you would be given an unseen passage and you would be required to make notes. You would be required to draft notes. Is that clear to all of you? All right, I hope it is clear. Now, so you have to read the passage to get the idea what it is all about. Basically you have to skim, right? Then you have to read the passage carefully, then you have to scan, right? So to get the idea what it is about, what the passage is talking about, what the idea is, what the main framework is, it is called skimming. And when you read the passage carefully and you underline the important words or the important meanings of it, whatever you can decipher, that's the scanning. All right, so important information, words and phrases, that would be scanning, right? Then identify and note down the main points to be put down as main headings. Then you need to identify and you need to note down the main points to be put down as main headings. Clear? So you need to identify and you need to note down the main points. What are the main points? And then you have to note it down as main headings. Then add the sub points, as I've explained before and in the class too, that you would be adding the sub points and then sub points which may support the main points, obviously. Clear? And then you after this you would be having key to abbreviations, that would be another box, and then you would be having summary. So that would be the third step. So I have explained you guys in the class that how it is divided into three parts. So the first one being the note making process, the note making box in which you would be having abbreviations in the sub heading part, and how you would be making use of those abbreviations, right? And how you would be making another separate box in which you will write key to abbreviations. Along with that you will have the abbreviations that you have used in your note making process, right, while you were creating or drafting notes. Is that clear? I hope it is clear. Then you would be having your summary, right? When we are talking about summary, you have to basically sum up the points that you have made in your notes. So while you were preparing your notes, what are the points, what are the major issues or the major ideas that you have covered so far? All right, so 2 or 3 related ideas can be combined or grouped in one point. Verbs can be changed to noun forms, and main points can be, can begin with them, so they can start with them. Then skip examples if there are too many. So you can skip examples if there are too many. Do not write complete sentences. Very, very important, as I've explained in the class, that you have to write 1/4, right? 3/4 of the sentence, right? So you don't have to write complete sentences. It should be 3/4, right? All right, yeah. So you have to make use of colons and long dashes. All right, so make use of colons and long dashes. Then you have to indent the notes properly. What do you have to do? You have to make sure, as I have explained, that you have to leave out the margins, right? So if you're writing 1, you have to leave a margin, and then 1.1 again leave a margin. You have to make sure that you are leaving more, right? So you have to indent basically. So indentation is nothing but it's about the space, it's about the margin. All right. Then use minimum 3-4 sub points and maximum 5 headings, as I've already spoken about this in the class. Then steps to making notes. Sub points should be made sub points should be made to subdivide the information. So if you want to subdivide, that means if you want to divide it further, your information, you have your sub points. Then no attempt should be made to put all the information present in the passage into note form. So it shouldn't be that you're just copying the entire passage, whatever passage has been presented in front of you in the examination hall. No, you wouldn't be doing that, because then it would be just copying or imitating. No, you have to basically present the main ideas, the main ideology, or what is the essence of that particular passage, right? Do not worry about grammatical correctness. Again, I have spoken about it in the class. So you are not supposed to worry about grammatical correctness when listening in when listing in points. So you are not supposed to be you don't get you don't need to bother about grammatical correctness. It can be written in brief, because you have to write in brief. So make sure that you write it brief and you stick to the point, right? You do not deviate from the direction, right? Use of abbreviations. So you can make use of 5, 6, 8 abbreviations. It depends on the time, because in the examination hall there is possibility of time, so you need to take into account that how you are supposed to manage your time. So basically your time management skills would be tested over here. Then an abbreviation key should be provided at the end of the notes, and it should be enclosed within a box. Again I'm stating over here, while making or creating or drafting notes, you are supposed to make a box. Another box, the second box, would be key to abbreviations, right? So use of abbreviations 5 to 6. So an abbreviation key should be provided at the end of the notes. This should be provided at the end of the notes. It should be enclosed within a box, and again it should be enclosed within a box. Now pay attention to the presentation and layout. So you are supposed to pay attention to the presentation as well as to the layout of the note making and key to abbreviations. Clear? I hope it is making sense. Now heading, title, this is how you are supposed to make it. So these are the two ways in which you can do it. So the first one is 1, and then A, B, C, subpoint, and then A under B you have 1 and 2, and or you can do it like this: heading, title. This is what I have discussed in the class, because it is easier for you to understand. So you have the first one, you have the main point, then you have 1.1, which is the sub point, 1.2, which is the sub point, and then 1.1 is the division of the, it's the, basically you would be elaborating the first point, so it is the division of the first point, and 1.2 is the another point, sub point, and 1.2.1 is the division of, is the further division of 1.2. Clear? So you would be elaborating upon 1.2. Is that clear? Is that making sense? I hope it is, because we have discussed it in the class as well. Now help with abbreviations. Use standard recognizable abbreviations and symbols as far as possible. So whenever I talk about abbreviations, children, I have asked children also in the class, they have come up with short forms. That ma'am, it means short, that ma'am, it refers to short forms. Yes, it does, but please underline the word recognizable. Use standard recognizable abbreviations and symbols as far as possible. Capitalized forced letters of words. Example, whenever you are talking about UP, USA, UK, etc., right? Whenever you are talking about any state or countries, you have to make sure that you are using capitalized letters. Then you have to use common abbreviations such as SC for science, Mr. for MR for Mr., Mrs., MRS for Mrs., DR for doctor, government, GOVT for government, etc. for etc. Right? Common symbols such as positive, so you will use plus VE, negative minus VE, rising you will show an arrow going up, falling you will show an arrow going down, right? So on and so forth, which we have discussed in the class. Now measurements and figures. Example, you have 100, you have 100 kg, you have 1000 millimeter, you have 100 ml, etc. So again, these would come under abbreviations. These are the recognized abbreviations. Do not get over enthusiastic about abbreviations. So it's not about that you get so enthusiastic that you start making your own abbreviations. Now use standardized abbreviations, right? So you should not abbreviate every word. Keep that in mind, everyone, right? Keep that in mind, that you should not abbreviate every word. As a general rule, the heading should not be abbreviated. So as a general rule, what shouldn't be abbreviated, as I've mentioned in the class as well, the heading should not be abbreviated. The heading should be capturing the essence of what the passage is containing, right? So you may use abbreviations in subheadings, as I've mentioned in the class. So making your own abbreviations, keep the main sounds of the word. Example, just a second. Example, education, so EDN. Program, so PROG for program. So these are the standard abbreviations that we can make use of because of these are the sounds, right? So retain the suffix. We have prefix and we have suffix, so you have to retain the suffix so that later when you are going over the notes, you may recall the full form of the word. Example being EDNAL, that means educational, or prog, comma, not comma, program, progressive, it's progressive, yeah, or you can have program too, right? So then we have key to abbreviations. The key portion of the note shows the various codes, symbols, or the abbreviations used. It helps to get a clear understanding of the keys used in the note making format. Alright, so key to abbreviations, for example, 6 meters, you will write the entire word and then you would write down the abbreviation of that particular word, right? So for example, 6 meters is given, so you will write 6m. 90 kilos is given, you will write 90 kg, right? This would be abbreviation, 90 kg, 6m, right? Earthquakes. So if you're writing down, make sure that when you're writing down, so on your left hand side, make sure that you're writing down the entire word, and on your right hand side, make sure that you are writing down the shortened form or abbreviated form, right? So in this, it's written earthquakes over here, and external and government and leads to, like this. But over here it should have, if you have written 6 meters 90 kilos, the entire word over here, then you should have written on the left hand side earthquakes, external, government, and on the right hand side it should have been ERTHK QKES and EXTNL on your left hand side, on your right hand side, and GOVT, right? I hope you have understood that. That's very easy. Now notes should be brief, as I've discussed in the class. They should identify the main points and subpoints. So they should identify the main points and subpoints. They should list information in note form, use only phrases and not sentences. Abbreviation and symbols are used, right? Information is logically divided and subdivided. Articles, prepositions, and conjunctions are omitted. So note making, you get to see, note making is a skill which improves by practicing. So it's a skill that improves by practicing. Is that clear? I have told you the distribution of the marks, so you don't need to go into whatever I have discussed in the class. That's how the distribution of marks has been done, right? In this slide it is different, but the the distribution of marks, as I've told you, it's 5, right, and plus 3. So you have 5 marks for note making and you have 3 marks for summarization, right? That makes it 2, as I've discussed in the class. What does it mean? It comes out to be 8 in totality in number, right? All right, so with this I would love to end this lecture. I hope you enjoyed. This is Sukriti Joshi ma'am signing off. Till then, let's all keep learning, let's all keep growing.